like the loss of their driver's license, a criminal record, fines, and more. A message from the RCMP, the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police, and Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of My River District. I'm Viveca Gravel, River District Coordinator, and I'm sitting here today with Jaret Koop. You probably know him anyways. The Operations Manager of George Bay Folk Society, who is the group that runs Summer Folk.
This is true.
And it's a big year.
It is. It's the 50th.
Big 50.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah. So Big 50, what are we doing? I want to hear everything.
Oh, there are a lot of things in the works that we'll be announcing in the next month or so. Sneak peek stuff. We are doing something with Grey Roots Museum.
Cool.
And the archives there. We are looking at bringing in some partners to do stuff at the festival that we haven't had before.
Okay.
We're expanding some of the arts ideas. We're expanding some of the stuff like we never really got a chance last year to enjoy the Sidewalk Astronomy Club, but they're coming back. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, last year.
For those who were there last year, there were not a lot of stars to look at through the rain. But
there was not a lot of ground to look at under the water.
Under the water. Yeah, it was a tough year. It was a tough year, but the funny thing is I've been doing this is my 5th year now, and I've probably had more comments after last year's festival of saying how memorable it was at the finale. Like specifically the finale was something that I think was probably unforgettable for everybody who was there.
Yeah.
The fact that it took everybody who was there to even make it happen.
Right.
When we were trying to figure out how we were going to move all of the evening's activities to the north end there, off the main stage, which we had to cancel, it was James who finally said, "Give me a minute," and he ran up on stage in the north end, and he just shouted to everybody that we need all your help, and everybody helped. Yeah. And they got the tent ready, and we were able to move all the programming, and they had a wonderful night. Everyone there. I got to experience a little bit of it, but I was still running around for the most part.
Oh man, my favorite memory from last year is standing in the artisan area and seeing these 2 kids just full bore run through that water. And it was so free and like majestic. And like, you were like, these kids are never going to forget that memory.
Yeah.
Like core memory for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, the Artisan Village particularly got hit with probably the deepest water and the highest winds. It took everybody's assistance, everybody working together to get people out of that situation, which was, you were central to it. So
I was there, yeah.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I had a full rain suit on.
Yep.
I felt really good for being a Girl Guide leader and being prepared for this kind of weather. It's like, I'll just put on my full rain suit that I happen to have.
Exactly.
And boots up to my knees, and everybody else is like, oh, my feet are getting wet. I'm like, not mine.
Uh-huh. Oh, man. Steve Kenny had the line of the weekend for me, which was, because he and I were out in it pretty well the entire time. And he said, have you ever been so wet that you had to have a shower to dry off? And I understood what he meant, because it was the only way. Like, when you get that soaked, it's just like you have to just wash it off before you can even start to get dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, it was reasonably warm, though.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have been really cold and rainy, which would have made it just miserable.
So the year before, we had a storm on the Thursday night.
Yes, that was fun.
That I ended up out in that for the entire 2 hours of it. And
I remember.
And that one was cold.
Yeah.
And I ended up cramping up pretty good. I had to walk home and I had to stand in a hot shower until the muscles came free. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I remember walking away because my kid and I were there and we had the umbrellas and stuff. And we saw you and your shoulders were up and you were completely soaked to the point of like the beard being dead straight and just not being able to function properly. But it was, funny for us. I'm sure miserable for you.
Yeah, it was fine after about 15 minutes in the hot water.
But then the rest of the weekend was glorious.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, I should mention, we are talking a lot about the rain, but I should mention we really have studied that weekend, and it doesn't actually have any more significant rainfall than any other weekend in the summer.
No.
But it's hard to tell people that, especially when you go through something like last year.
The rain is part of it.
Yes.
Like there's, wild jokes about how, it's not summer folk if it's not raining.
Well, I think we leaned into that pretty good with our T-shirt campaign this year, which was I survived Summer Soak 49.
Yeah.
And that actually came from a patron and a sponsor who was there. And she thought it was hilarious. And so she sent me the thing the next morning. And I showed it to the setup crew and teardown crew. And they all started laughing. They said, "Oh, I'll buy one." So we started making the shirts. And actually, that's been one of our most significant fundraisers to date. It's still available if anybody wants to order a shirt. The minimum $50 donation, you can do it from our page. Yeah, that fundraiser is actually pretty well what kept us going through the fall into the winter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about donations and how important they are and community support and funding in general, how important that is to make Summer Folk happen.
Yeah. So the world that these festivals, not just ours, but all of our folk style festivals exist in is changing. Mm-hmm. For a long time, we've had fairly reliable public funding, but that funding is shrinking and it's becoming more competitive. So we've had to switch our focus to more of a community-funded kind of model. So we're reaching out to businesses, sponsors, that kind of thing, but we're also reaching out to individuals, people who love the festival, things like that. And, there's been an incredible amount of goodwill from everybody, particularly after this past year, because, it was a tough year. We were down, 1,500 people. We were down 1,000 tickets. We were down 1,500 people on site. We were down, quite a bit of money. So, we put that out to the community, and the response has been amazing. Mm-hmm. And it's really only through the T-shirt campaign and donations that we have been able to pull through to the point where we are and actually start planning next year's festival and hiring musicians and artists and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's integral to the existence of our festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's lovely to know that, the community basically makes the festival happen.
Yeah.
So make it the best festival you possibly can.
That's the whole idea.
Absolutely. So, okay, while we're talking about funding, how can people get involved? You said our page, but can you give that to me specifically?
So summerfolk.org is our website, and it's being scrubbed over the next week, and some new information will be going up on it. But right now, you could become a member, which is one way to support us. You could do a donation, which is also through the same spot on the page. It's right on the front. Or buy tickets.
Right.
And so we've got tickets for sale. We've actually had the strongest early bird sale that we've had since I took over this position, and stronger than most of the years pre-pandemic as well. So.
Okay, well, let's make that even better.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Come on, come in the community.
And it's funny, we got Trout Fishing in America is coming back, and since I took over this job, that has been the number one request, is to get them back. I don't know what that is. I didn't know either, but they're a duo from the States, and they do kind of kind of like comedy-ish songs.
Oh, okay. I thought you
So-
meant like Trout's Canada,
Right?
who like ran conservation. Anyways.
Yeah. If you Google trout fishing in America, put band at the end.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you won't find it. But you will find them of the band. So they're a popular one, but we have a number of sort of fan favorites that are coming back
Cool.
this year. So you can also see, well, as I said, we're scrubbing the page and it'll be up this week, but if you go to our social media, you can see all the artists that we've already booked, including some pretty cool locals.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, we've got JD Crosstown and Amber
amazing.
May are both booked for this year and announced. And I have to be careful because sometimes my brain mixes up stuff that James has talked to me about versus things that are actually confirmed. So I don't want to speak out of turn, but if you go to our social media, you'll see all the artists that we booked.
And what's that?
That would be, Facebook/Summerfolk, or we actually have a TikTok channel too now.
You do?
Yeah, so if you just search Summerfolk Music and Crafts on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you'll find us, and we're pretty easy to find on there.
And we'll have it at the bottom of this screen as well.
That'd be great.
Right about here.
Right.
Okay, so
Yes.
you can't tell us everything.
No.
Follow along on your socials to get
Yes.
those announcements. Check out the website, fund, help, donate if you can. Get your tickets. I mean, if you're planning on buying tickets anyways,
Yep.
buy them now so that money can go towards hiring people and all of that kind of stuff. And of course, you're always looking for volunteers.
Always. Yes.
So how does somebody become a volunteer, and what kind of categories do the volunteers have?
So there's like 50 different categories for volunteering. So it's anything from helping with the setup, so that's the week prior to the festival on site, to set up construction food, which is feeding the people who are setting up the festival, which is a big job. And then on the weekend of, there's everything from the front box office and the bicycle corral all the way to backstage cafe and moving equipment and instrument lockup and the children's area and so on and so forth. One of the areas that we always need people, it used to be called volunteer security. We call it ambassadors now because we aren't really looking for you to do security type things.
Right.
But mostly it's just to engage with people and walk around, and if there's anything happening, to make sure that the proper people know and that can be addressed. But we always need more people to do that. Gate people to help people through the gates, accessibility, first aid. Like there's so many different moving parts to an event of this size that it takes about 600 to 700 people to do it.
Yeah, and I can say firsthand, I never really thought Summerfolk was a place that I would spend time based on my tastes and stuff like that. But first of all, I was wrong. But also volunteering is so fun.
Yeah.
Like the community of people who are around you, the teams working together, the communication, all of that kind of stuff, and just being able to be kind of part of it, but like behind the scenes.
Yeah. It feels a little bit like a reunion every year.
Yeah.
And I know that's for a lot of people, this is the only time of year that they see each other.
Yeah.
So that is a big part of the volunteering community, and that's true. Oh, I should mention Delhi to Dublin is coming.
Okay.
And Delhi to Dublin is, for anybody who's like, oh, I don't like folk music. Delhi to Dublin is, well, just go on our socials and take a look at it, because you would not describe them as folk music per se, but they take elements of folk music and turn it into an electronic dance party that's, it's got elements of several different cultures and organizations and countries and backgrounds, and they slam it together into this dance party. And,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk more about that kind of stuff when we get back.
I'm Wendell Clark with a word about winning. We all know it takes a team effort in any sport and with any challenge. You can be a part of the winning team that shuts out impaired driving. Whether you're out on the town or just hanging out with friends, drink responsibly. Always have a plan for a safe ride home for yourself, your family, and your friends. You'll be helping to shut out impaired driving.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober. Summer days, summer nights, lots of things to do, places to go, and people to see. If you're having a few drinks, be sure to plan ahead and get home safely. We don't want to pick you up. Drinking drivers risk injuries to themselves and others and take chances with their license, their jobs, and their future. Remember what's at stake and choose your ride, whether you're the driver, the passenger, or the party host. Thanks for supporting Sober Driving. I hope we never meet.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more.
Hi, I'm Lynn from Third Eye View, and welcome to a brand new season that we're looking forward to. We have some return guests and some brand new guests. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your summer, stay safe.
Okay, so before the break, we were talking about Delhi to Dublin and how it's not always, folk music and how it's, it is kind of digestible to everybody and everybody can enjoy it regardless of liking folk music.
Yeah. I mean, folk music, it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Right.
And I know that, there's probably a lot of people that when they hear the term folk music, they think of a beard and a banjo. And there will be some of that probably. But, it can be anything. It's just storytelling music.
Right.
So any music that tells a story. And it doesn't necessarily have to be any particular genre. It can be in just about anything. I mean, we had a surf punk band that came through Youth Discoveries a couple of years ago. And, we had asked the artistic director, is it okay? Because, they really are one of the best. And he just said, send me the best. So when they came and they played on Friday night, and they got a standing ovation in the down by the Bay tent.
Wow.
Yeah, because they were so good.
Yeah.
And it was just you couldn't deny it. It was a surf punk band, but they were amazing.
Yeah.
And, like I said, Delhi to Dublin's a good example. We had Harpoon and the Axe Murderer.
What a name.
Right? And they're like a two-piece, sort of swampy blues act, and there's all the way up to the Pears, which is, they are three women that sing together and sound like one voice. It's incredible how well their voices come together, and their style of music is pretty straightforward. It's not, it's the kind of stuff that you would hear on the radio.
Right.
So, I think the idea of folk is maybe a little bit limiting in some people's minds, but when you come and actually see the artists play, it's kind of oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
It's not just beards and a banjo.
Absolutely.
Although there might be some of that there too, because sometimes beards and a banjo is fun.
That is fair.
It makes me want to start a band called Beards and a Banjo.
I mean, you've got 18 other bands anyways, so
right?
you might as well just toss it in there.
And there's enough people here with beards.
Maybe that's your single. That's your
Beards and a Banjo?
Yeah.
I kind of like the name. I don't know. I don't know.
Now watch out for Beards and a Banjo.
That's true.
Coming at you.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important message for the community, is that folk is not what you think folk is.
Yeah.
And this event is so much more than just folk music. Mm-hmm. It's crafts. It's kids stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
My kid loves it.
Yeah, kids stage, we've got puppet shows, we've got kids entertainers in the Family Village stage, which we moved the wine bar down there so that you don't necessarily have to run to the other end of the park if you're a parent, and you have two of you, it makes it a little bit easier.
Sure.
But also there's crafts in there for the kids, all different kinds. There's a community village, which is other nonprofit organizations from our area that come, and you may find out that there's people doing things here that you didn't know.
Yeah.
Which is really what we're trying to highlight there. The Big Canoe is coming back. GB Arts is coming back to do their classes. We're going to try and have the stand-up paddleboarding coming back. Just experiences that are provided by people in and around our area. Basically, the concept is, and the philosophy is, we want to find everybody in the community that's doing fun and cool things and ask them to come to the festival and do their fun and cool things there.
So if you and your community group are doing a fun and cool thing,
get in touch.
Get in touch with Summerfolk. Get in touch with Georgia Bay Folk Society.
Yes. And we're actually at the Harmony Center now.
Yes.
So we've moved our office into the Harmony Center, which I think is a great fit.
I mean, the arts and entertainment coming out of the Harmony Center, it's just a perfect fit.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of which, I started salsa dancing on Friday there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, with
Nice.
Kimmer. So with my wife, and we had our first one. And I play hockey, and an hour of the salsa dancing, and my thighs came out of that burning like I don't even come out of hockey like that. So,
Different muscles.
yeah, it was crazy. It was like, why are my legs? I couldn't even pick it up to lift it over a little guardrail. Like, what's going on? So,
Amazing.
Yeah.
So it is a festival for everyone
Yes.
of any age.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you guys do to try to make it as accessible as possible.
Yep.
You have a whole accessibility.
We have an accessibility team, and we're always trying every year to make it a little bit better. We have people to help people with accessibility issues around the park. And all you have to do is at the front gate, or you can even just email us, and prior to the festival, as we get ramped up, we give all that information over to the first aid team who looks after the accessibility crew.
And the park itself has pathways that can get you pretty much everywhere.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's an important feature. And those people who complain that there's no parking, ride your bike.
Yeah, we got a bike corral now.
That is so great.
Yeah, Scenic Cycle.
Yeah.
They look after the bike corral for us, and they're wonderful. And 2 years ago, we introduced it, and it was overflowing. The response was not what anybody expected.
Yeah.
And last year, we expanded it. However, due to unforeseen circumstances with the amount of rain that we got, But anyways, yeah, it'll be. We'll have the bike corral up again next year, and
it's a great way to get there.
Yeah, it really is.
And kind of all paths in Owen Sound lead to Kelso.
Well, just about everything that comes up the west side. I mean, it's all right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So ride your bike. Bring your kid. You can bring the little wagony thing on the back of your bike. They'll look after that too. Yeah. Which I think is important. And just come out as a family, or come out as a single person.
Sure.
And enjoy and meet people. And because you see the same people so often there.
Yeah.
It might be the one time a year you see old Rod from Peterborough.
It's true. That is true. I mean, we do bring a lot of people to town. And I actually had a conversation with Jason from the Chamber of Commerce. He's one of the managers at the Best Western, and I've been using his quote to death with his permission, which is we're the #1 event to put heads in beds. So, when Summerfolk happens, all the camp spots in town are full. So the camping is full, all the hotels are full, all the motels are full, the Airbnbs are sold out. A lot of people come to town for this event. Yeah. And, right now, about 60% of our people come from outside of the 40-kilometer, which designates them as tourism or internal tourism. But a significant number of people come from farther away.
Right.
And, what I would love to see is more people coming from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since you can bike.
Yeah.
Or walk.
Yeah.
Or hop on a bus.
There's a lot of, there's a lot of people who travel elsewhere to go see shows. And, all I would say is just give Summerfolk a chance. It is, all it took for me was one day.
Yep.
And in 2016, I worked the music store by myself because everybody else in the music store was involved with Summerfolk. And Sunday we had off, so I went over to the festival and immediately ran into an old friend of mine who I played music with out of Hamilton and St. Catharines, and proceeded to see some of the best music I'd ever seen.
Right.
And every year I discover somebody who I've never heard of, and I become a fan, and I have to buy all their stuff. So, it really is like a music festival. It's a food festival. It's a crafts festival. It's a family festival.
Yeah.
It's a community festival.
Yeah, some of the best artisans you'll see set up there. Some of the best food trucks, and various restaurants even close down and come out for the weekend.
Yeah.
Just to be there. So yeah, and all different kinds of food as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
which is really lovely.
A pretty great diversity of food now. It's one of those things that you're always trying to, okay, we also need a this and we also need a that. Like, it's like, well, you try your best to bring it out, but the past 2 years, we've really had a great diversity of food options.
Yeah, everything from super healthy to
super not healthy.
French fries.
Beaver
That's
tails.
basically what I ate all weekend.
Or beaver tails.
Yeah, or ice cream.
Yeah.
All the good things,
Yeah.
all the festival things that
Yeah.
you would expect are there and ready for you and easily accessible. And really, you can come down for the day, stay at your house,
Yep.
and just keep coming back and enjoy it with everybody else who's, maybe from out of
Absolutely.
town and fighting for a hotel room. Let your cousins stay with you while they come to Summerfolk.
That's true. There is a lot of backyard camping.
Yes.
For Summerfolk. I do know about that. And it really is an event that's the people who go every year, the people who've gone generationally, the love that they have for an event like this, for Summerfolk, it's just inspiring. Like it lifts you up. It makes you feel like, maybe I want to delve into something that I care about this much. And, in a town like this, maybe that means you volunteer for someone else too. Like, there are other organizations out there that are doing all kinds of great things for our community, and they all need volunteers too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Community involvement is what is going to keep this event happening.
Yeah.
Year over year.
100%.
And it's the big 50 this year.
Yep.
So what can we expect next? We've got about 2 minutes left. Have the registrations opened for vendors and...
The registrations for vendors are opening this week.
Okay.
So artisans and food vendors. Community Village will probably open in the next week or two. And we'll start trying to recruit. We have, as I mentioned, a bunch of the community organizations that do the Big Canoe Project and the Sidewalk Astronomy and the GB Arts classes, and we're still working on getting the paddleboarding back. What you're going to see, though, is leading up to the festival, a number of events. We're going to be doing some home concerts. As I said, we're doing the we're going to do something with Georgian Bay Roots. Nope, Georgian Roots Museum. There it is. Took a while to get it. We're doing something with them, and that'll open up in late spring. April, we are doing the Youth Discoveries Program, which is a nationally known youth development musical program, and I think it's going to be a pretty great one this year. We are bringing a preliminary back to Owen Sound for the first time in probably 8 years. I think we're going to have a lot of excitement building up to the festival with these other events. And just look to our socials, especially, because that's where they'll be announced first. You'll start to see some of the printed material go out. And I think we're just going to do our best to bring back a lot of fan favorites from over the years. Expect to see some people from the first Summerfolk performing. And there's too much to mention in a short period of time, but
check it all out on your socials and on your website.
Yep.
Well, Jaret, thank you so much for joining me again on My River District. You are always a delight, and we'll see you next time.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Today, I helped a parent feed their family by connecting them to a food program.
Today, I helped someone connect with mental health supports.
Today, I helped a couple struggling to pay their bills access financial aid.
Every day, 211 navigators connect Canadians to critical government and community programs and services.
211. Help starts here.
These days at your local Legion, we're marching to the beat of a different drum. On a mission to support veterans, to have fun, and to welcome everyone.